Hello, hi there, it's me, it's Dave, or the Jaded Rabbit. God bless you, my friends. Thank you kindly for joining along for another live stream. Also, happy Easter to you, my friends. Hopefully, the Easter Bunny, the Easter Rabbit, is also visiting you alongside the Jaded Rabbit with some chocolate eggies or something. Hopefully, you have some treats for this Easter. But yes, I have had the topic of cameo fighters on my mind because this week saw the release of Janet Cage, and I think it's prudent to take a step back and analyze what we have been given through these DLC cameo fighters. The cameo system in general has been overall lackluster. I don't enjoy it. I think this is a divisive topic. I think it's polarizing. I think there are some people who enjoy it, and I can see that there are things that you can do with cameos, making everything safe with plus frames, having your fancy 40, 50% combos. But it's so disappointing, and for me it just feels like a huge insult that these characters are not playable, that there is not some form of 2v2 or a fully fleshed out tag mode. This game is so lacking for modes, and for it to have something like a cameo fighter and for it to be underutilized is really so pathetic. This game is so pathetic. So, speaking of pathetic, I was looking at Ed Boon's Twitter, and there is already a new set of brown nosers trying to suck up and say that Janet Cage might be the best cameo in MK1, and he tags absolutely everyone. He didn't tag Ed Boon, but somehow Ed Boon is like, already, dragon, lightning. What does the lightning bolt mean in context of the dragon emoji? I would like to understand. So this is the combo that's being shown off here, and this is why we're saying that Janet Cage is the best cameo ever. The combo did 340. I can do 340 if I do like my regular Liu Kang combo and then finish with a Kano ball. That does 342, 343. The 340 is like, why is Ed Boon showing off 340? We all know that combos can be bigger, but surprisingly, I guess he's not in love with the current shills, so that's why he's seeking out a new pack of shills, but he's retweeting Forever King. He's retweeting Forever King. Where are the retweets of Sonic Fox or Super? I thought those were the head shills. So him, I guess, going to these new people who are not vocalizing any discontent with the game. This is the new MO for the corporates, but it's very interesting because how on earth is this number one? So we've got a Janet Cage combo with Geras. Okay, so that was just a Geras combo, kind of. Janet's doing something. So she is like a little Sento. A trans version of the Sento spirit. So that did a lot of damage, 58%. Once again, this is in practice. Who cares? Do it in Combat League. Then I'll be like, whoa. But I know you're just like showing off the combos, whatever, practice. Whatever. So all of your cameo meter for 58% damage. Kind of wild, right? So, I think one thing that you can really see immediately from the jump is that these DLC cameo fighters, they are definitely more broken, more easy to use, more options. Tremor, Chameleon, Janet Cage. compared with the other fighters on the Cameo roster, you've got like what, 3 moves with Kano. You can delay Kano ball. Serena, you've got like 4. Darius, they added a couple of moves to him, so he's a little bit more buffed up compared to the others. But the whole entire concept of the Cameo fighters is something very questionable. And I think we should take a look at where these Cameo fighters really come from. I think a lot of people forget about where the Cameo fighters come from. I think people don't want to read. Let's read. Let's also see what you guys are saying. Thank you so much for joining. Hey there, Brian. Hey, Six Legs. Is Janet's Johnny's mom? No. Like like Blair White. I think Janet is like a Blair White version of Johnny. This is the hope, but she's not as pretty. Cameos are the best addition to the game. Invasions is the best game mode of all time. Way better than Towers of Time. What? I should read these things before I repeat them out loud. What are you talking about, T800? Hello, Fiery Paper. Thank you, my friends, for joining along. So this is an article that comes from CBR. It's an interview with Dominic Cianciolo, where they describe how the roster is created. What's the process of working with the design team to solidify the roster? Is it a back and forth? So he says this, Cianciolo, who is also the story and voiceover director at NRS, responsible for creating the cinematic cutscenes of MK9, MKX, and MK11. The whole roster, whether it's Cameo fighters or the main roster, Ed always starts with a group of characters that he wants to do. Then he talks with me. What would you want to do for story? Hopefully that Venn diagram is just a circle. Sometimes it's not, so we have to negotiate. So everything from the design to who these characters are going to be is decided by Ed Boon and Dominic Cianciolo. And the corporate speak within the company is that the Cameo roster is essentially a doubling of the roster. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, here we go. He also contradicts himself from his earlier statement because he says, I was not in discussions for Cameo fighters. But then he goes on to say, wow, it's almost effectively a complete extra roster of characters. This is how NRS views the Cameo system. As something that can be charged to the player, because players in fighting games will usually only pick up a game if the game features their favorite fighter, their main. By doubling the roster, giving you an Armageddon size in the cast, they can essentially pull in as many people as possible through the Cameo mechanic. Whether or not the Cameo is good, whether or not it's balanced, whether or not it's fair, it will generate more dollars. And that's the Cameo system in a nutshell for MK1. It's a money grab. They are looking to sell as many copies by having this complete extra roster of characters. However, I really don't know how much we should believe any of the statements provided by people working at the company, because they have lied to us. It's really hard to get past that. They have lied to us in the past. And even in this article where he says that he was not in the discussions for Cameo fighters, but then supposedly the whole roster, whether it's Cameo fighters or the main roster, Ed starts with a group of characters and then talks with Mr. Cianciolo. And if you're unfamiliar with Mr. Cianciolo, this is him. He's also listed as working at the Faculty of Chicago, the second city. What? He does stand-up improv? What? I'm trying to understand Mr. Cianciolo a little bit better here. He's also responsible for a lot of the kind of insertion of corporate politics within the game, even in the character design. Covered up ladies, gay Twinkie dudes. He's responsible for that. I'm shocked. So this is Dominic Cianciolo. He's been working at Midway since 2007. He's been involved with all of the games, including MK1, for which he received a WGA award, Outstanding Achievement in Video Game Writing. How do you get a video game writing reward if the story was just a remake? Right? Like, the story was essentially the story of MK1, 2, and 3. He got an award for that? There must have been few contenders in the year of 2012. Crazy. So crazy. So we've also, like, I think we should... This is Reddit. I just wanted to see what Reddit's thoughts were on this guy. Are you a fan of what he has done to the story, or do you absolutely hate it? So this is a guy who's responsible for Lesbian Melina, Multiverse, Janet Cage. Like, he's put all those things in the game, and it goes from the main fighters to even the cameos. So what does Reddit think? He is better off writing children's books. It's just incredible how brilliant some of the community's ideas, I guess, are, and how dumb NRS writing have become. I think if you have some form of multiverse, it's clear it's low effort writing. And even with the incorporation of cameo fighters into the story, characters like Darius and Serena, they have no voice lines. But we've got a bunch of quips for Miss Janet Cage where she's like, girl power. What's the Janet voice? Girl power. It's ma'am. Like, what is her voice? Can someone do an imitation of Janet? But yes, very, very wild. But I think, like, what's more concerning... You could argue that all of the pre-release interviews were just advertising, promotional pieces filled with lies, but I mean, that's one way you could take it. But I think there's like, there's like a salt of, a grain of truth somewhere in there. A little seasoning of truth. So he explains the cameo fighters more so in this interview once again with CBR, where Derek says there's also the addition of the cameo fighters, which adds an entirely new layer of chaos to the experience. So that was a softball, not even a question coming from the interviewer. I think these were scripted talking points. I think chaos is the perfect way to describe it. You use them to complement however you want to play. If you want to be more of an aerial juggler, you equip Sonya. She's going to extend those combos. If you want to be a hard pressure character, you could potentially equip Jax. Yeah, right. He's doing ground pounds to give you more control. Ground pounds? Do they give you more control? Because they hit you too. Like, you have to know the timing of the pounds so that you can jump appropriately to continue a combo or whatever in the corner. They really complement the way that you want to play. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like they don't really understand their own game. I think we saw that with Invasions. We've seen that with Combat League, matchmaking algorithms. Like, they don't understand what they've made. And it's been years of them not understanding. When will they understand? How do you find the balance between the classic elements of the series, new features like cameos, and the tweaked playstyles of the characters? This is very interesting. Each cameo has its own utility for the most part. One may be more for opening, one may be more for pressure, and one may be more for spacing, things like that. So this is, I guess, a clear indication that Derek Kurtzik has no idea how he's to use these cameos, because these cameos are supposed to be using for chip, block damage, pressure, plus frames, extended combos. What do you mean spacing? I guess he said pressure. Opening. Yeah, our combat designs are amazing. They've been tournament fighters. They've known the deep technical aspects of fighting games for so long. Most of their lives at this point, they're the real masterminds behind putting together the balance and making sure everything syncs together. This is another revelation that they do rely at NRS on ex-pro players to then go work for the company and help develop combat for another game. So what I'm seeing is that the problems, whatever they may be, that existed, let's say, 10 years ago, the people who were playing that game and were accustomed to those mistakes, those problems are getting reincorporated into any future game that the studio produces if they're hiring those ex-pro players. Very wild, very interesting. So I'm really detecting that some of this is maybe downplaying what the true potential for cameos were, because this article was prior to release, like August. But it's interesting to see like what was their intention. But I think like after release, like we saw, and hopefully you saw too, that Mortal Kombat 1 was a glitchy mess. There were so many things that weren't fully realized, and Cameo system being one of them as well. Whenever you try to have multiple things on screen, the game drops frames. Even now, even still, you can still get frame drops in Mortal Kombat 1 on console, on PS5. PC is a different story. I didn't realize how bad it plays on PC till I tried it on the free play weekend. But yeah, you can get frame drops on console too, even now in Season 4. So it says here, in a footage from a review YouTuber, Chris in Color, you can see the game hitch and sometimes freeze when multiple characters and visual effects appear. For a fighting game where tagging in assist characters, known as cameos, is instrumental to game mechanics, these frame rate dips will have serious impact on gameplay. And in fact, Trials 7 and 8 of the combo challenges were not present on Switch initially because they required too much computing power from the poor little Switch console that couldn't display all of these multiple characters on screen at the same time. I have fully documented this. As you can see, this thing is running at 17 frames per second. Because that's what Mortal Kombat 1 is. It's a buggy, unfinished, glitchy mess, even now. And NRS has tried to reduce some of these issues, but the issues aren't going away. The issues still exist. They're just trying to obstruct players with other barriers rather than actually fixing the problem of having multiple things on screen. And this main issue of having multiple things on screen is why we receive a cameo system instead of a fully fledged 2v2 or tag mode. I guess I could pull up here Ermacher, unused tag mode. Here we go. And this is the unused MK9 tag mode, MK9 style, like, tag mode, that exists within MK1. And surprisingly, MK1 has been nerfed in relation to this unused tag mode. Regular players on console or people without mods on PC wouldn't notice it. But they have changed the way that the tag mode interacts and works, which is wild. So it's, once again, it's disappointing to see that Cameos could have been so much more rather than what we got, which is a cash grab built around member berries. Double the roster, give you an extra roster of characters. You're going to be getting double the sales, hypothetically, if you could pull in people who don't get, let's say, Jade. You can just purchase Chameleon. Okay, well, you don't get Frost and as a playable character, you can get her as a cameo. Frost shouldn't be a cameo. Some of these characters should not be cameos. Kano, Sonya. Why are they not on the main roster? Jax. Ugh. It's very frustrating. So let's see what you guys are saying before we move on here. But Just Drew, hey there. Johnny, they should hire pro players from other games. Yeah, wild. Kara, hey there, sister. Adlai, I don't. Britney Spears taught me that. What did y'all? Not y'all. Not Britney taught you, y'all. Okay. Well, she does say y'all a lot, but... Hi, y'all. I'm getting my Jamba Juice and my frappe latte. I'm driving with my babies in my lap. Yay. That's my favorite era of Britney. Now, I didn't, the conservator stuff, like Free Britney, that was a little too real. I got really sad for her, but I loved it when she was off the rails. Anyways, terrible. Janet, the hatchet face of the MK chicks, MK11, okay, whatever, T800. You shouldn't speak because your favorite character, Terminator, is an MK11. The premium shop stuff looks so beautiful, they should, what? Oh, God. T800, I don't... You're programmed to say the most wild things. Okay. Anyways, so moving on, I think we should also hear once again what these developers were intending for Cameos, because I think this is coming from August, the first Combat Cast. It seems like they were wholly designing Cameos to go in a different direction.
We hope to see you there. That'll be awesome. Today, we're going to talk about some fun things. We're going to discuss Cameos a little bit. A huge part of this game.
Yes.
A huge, amazingly fun part of this game as I've gotten deeper and deeper into the game.
I wish it was more fun, but really, Cameos are there to just do combos. It's just combo, extender, pressure. That's it. What's exciting about them? And when they come on screen, it's definitely not as exciting as seeing a crushing blow.
Then we're going to walk through Scorpion. Mm-hmm. Pretty popular character.
I've heard of him. I've heard of that character.
And then
kind
we're
of iconic.
Go through one of my favorites, Johnny Cage.
Hey!
Who has some new mechanics that are very exciting that we're excited to talk about.
Still goofy, and I love it.
But before we do that, before we actually go to gameplay, let's talk a little bit about Cameos themselves. Stephanie, what do you see Cameos as?
Cameos are kind of an extension of the way we've looked at player expression in the last few games. We had customizable loadouts, variations, and now this is something new where your roster character is going to be, set, but then your cameo is you can go back and forth with, and you could maybe shore up your weaknesses by giving yourself a projectile, or you could shore up your defense by having new mobility options, or maybe if your roster character doesn't have the best combos, you could have a combo-centric cameo. So it's kind of a way to change the way you play while keeping your base roster character the same. And I would imagine some people are going to switch back and forth depending on matchup. Some people are just going to have their favorites. So
some people are going to base.
Okay, so no one switches their cameo based on matchup. At least from what I've seen. I don't see people doing that. And the way that they describe cameo selection as a form of player expression just kind of shows how out of touch they are with the community. Like, no one thinks, oh, I've got to express myself through my character with a cameo. No, it's like wearing a fancy skin or putting on a cool gear piece, or like in Tekken, like that's player expression. That's a great example of player expression, Tekken 8. Because you have your color wheels, you have your stupid costumes that cost $7 Canadian. There's a lot of ways to express yourself in Tekken 8. That's beautiful. But you can't really express yourself through just cameo selection. And it's in direct opposition to what actually exists now. What we're taking a look at are the official esports rule for Final Combat, which will culminate in a tournament here in Toronto. But this is how the matches are to proceed, whereby a losing player of the preceding match may choose to change their character and cameo character. What? So that's in opposition of what Stephanie sold us prior to release, where you can only switch your cameo. And that's what we still have in Combat League. In Combat League, you can't change your main character. You can only change your cameo. But for pro players, they are so blessed, they can have the freedom to choose what character they want if they're the loser. The losing player may only choose to change the stage if they remain on the same character and cameo character from the preceding match. What's the point of changing the stage? Please tell me what is the point of changing the stage in MK1, because there are no stage interactables. All the stages are the same. They could be replaced with a blacked out screen, as I've demonstrated in my sing-song. MK1 is done, parentheses, a penis in disguise. The parentheses kill me. So what you're getting here is a mixture of promotion, a mixture of lies, because this is not how it works. At least in the pro scene. This is not how it works at top tier play. People aren't changing cameos based on who they're seeing as the main fighter. They're changing their cameos so that they can do their stupid combos. Or yeah, I guess you can switch it to also, like, I guess if you don't have a teleport, it is an option there, but I don't really see that these people really understand what they've created. So we go on here to Combat Cast number 3.
Fun, sort of breaking the meta of what Xiao is, just so you can do with that.
And
Really
I think
cool.
it's so neat about the cameo system. You kind of look at your play style, look at your character, and think, what are my weaknesses? What are the things I think I'm missing? And you can use your cameo to turn those weaknesses into strengths.
And for me,
So,
like,
okay, that full-on lie. What the hell do you mean turn your weaknesses into strengths? So, going to the example of, let's say, like Liu Kang. He doesn't have, like, a full-screen teleport. He can just do, like, that dragon gift thing or whatever. So you could pair him with Motaro. But how does that now become a strength? You've just added greater utility. And wouldn't you rather have more utility with a character like a Chameleon, where you get projectile, full screen combo starter, or you could have the katana fly Jackie bounce kind of thing? Yeah, like I see that move as the Jackie bionic bounce. I don't know why they just repeat these animations. So hearing Stephanie talk about this and knowing what comes later, it's irritating.
I'm so far away from people just as a zoner, just even having this just to get me out of dodge, right?
Right.
Now I'm close again.
Now
and
you're
now
close.
Now you don't want to be there. Let's show the.
Okay, so yeah, I think like the worst part of it though is that they really feel like this is player expression. Like this is how players manifest role play themselves in this game. How is that even possible? Because the Cameo is a secondary character. It is not your main character. I sympathize with a main character. It's hard for me to sympathize with multiple characters. So yes, here we go. I think that what's really sad, though, is that I don't want to say Uncaged was right. But Uncaged Games was right. He called it out 9 months ago, as did I. I called it out before him. But the Cameo Fighters is just a repetition. They have taken so many things and repackaged it from game to game, calling it new. The Cameo Fighters aren't new. That is the problem. We are being sold this Cameo system as something that's brand new, allowing you to do fancy things. Keyword assist. Assists in fighting games have been a thing for a while. The most recent example I can think of is MK11. Tag assist consumables are cameos, but with less freedom? Perhaps less freedom, because cameos, you can use them like 4 ways. You could get the same utility out of a tag assist consumable from MK11. So Uncaged says here how to get ready for Cameo Fighters for MK1. Let's hear what he has to say. Includes paid promotion. Okay.
What's up, guys?
I know there's
going to
be an ad. Like, how do I get past the ad?
Topic video. Today, we are going to be diving in and
Okay, here we go. Spinny circle. Yeah, so sorry.
Right.
My YouTube don't work properly anymore because I got extensions that YouTube doesn't like.
is a feature in Mortal Kombat 11 that actually has somewhat of a Cameo Fighter system, or what I think the Cameo Fighter system will work like. So, to do this, any of you guys can do this if you guys have Mortal Kombat 11, which I'm assuming a lot of you guys do. You can do this in any of the tower modes, the towers of time, or the classic towers. For this example, we're just doing the classic towers, and I'm going to choose the champion tower because I'm a champion. All right, pick your character. Let's go, Jean Cage. So once this tower
I can't with him. He's kind of cringy, isn't he?
pops up, make sure you guys press the X button on the Xbox controller, or if you're on PlayStation, you press square. It pulls up this consumables inventory page. Now, this is what I feel like MK1 Cameos roster is going to look like. Once you pick your main base roster character that you're going to play as, a second menu will pop up here where it has a bunch of icons of the Cameo fighters that you can pick from. Now, in Mortal Kombat 11, there are consumables that, like this one.
Okay, I mean, like, he's totally describing how to do it, but this is what we got. We got these tag assist consumables repackaged. Now, in MK11, you would have to trigger them with the R thumbstick, but in MK1, you trigger them with R1 and a directional input. Not that much different. It's just remapping some of the buttons to cause the same effect. Now, there is more chaos. What's his face describes it as chaos. Perfect way to describe the Cameo system, because there are less restrictions on what you can do with cameos or tag assists in MK1. In MK1, when you call in a cameo, it refreshes a percentage of the damage scaling. I haven't done all of the maths, and if someone more nerdy than me and capable of using the Cameo system could do the maths, I would love to know. But I can see that there is damage scaling being refreshed once a cameo is pulled in, meaning that you can do absurdly longer combos with more damage than you could in MK11. There's also less gravity scaling in general, meaning that you can juggle better in MK1 compared to MK11. It's not the least amount of gravity scaling out of all three of the games. I think Tekken has pretty crazy gravity scaling, meaning that you can do these really long combos and keep the opponent in the air for a very long time. I think MK1 has maybe a little bit more restrictive gravity scaling compared to Tekken 8, but it's still less restrictive than MK11. But it is very chaotic, and I think this is another problem with MK1 in general, and it's coming from the Cameo system. When you have something that is described by the developers as chaotic, how do you balance chaos? How do you make chaos competitive? Like, these two things are working at odds with each other, meaning that you can't really create a fully competitive Mortal Kombat game if the game is built around this premise of chaos. It doesn't make sense. And this is something that I experienced with Destiny. I used to play Destiny a lot, and people really wanted it to be competitive, to be at the esports level. But there was too much mayhem within the basic framework of the game that would just lead it to not being esports worthy because it's not properly balanced. It's fun. It can be fun. Chaos is fun. But you're prioritizing fun over making an actual competitive game, which really highlights the fact that these Cameo fighters should have been its own game mode, not something forced down every single encounter in the game. And in fact, it's not every single encounter in the game, because in the story mode, you actually have chapters where you have no cameos at all, showing that there is a lot of potentials with the cameos to be either a tag mode, a 2v2 mode, 1v1 mode. Like, you're seeing all of the potential there, and it's just wasted by these fools who think that it's player expression. It's very frustrating to hear these guys talk. So, yeah, really, really, really frustrating. But I think what's utterly frustrating is that when the developers don't really understand their own game, what they're making, how to properly balance it, it becomes a lot harder for them to provide actual useful information about these characters. I'm thinking about MK11. MK11 character tutorials were very descriptive. Told you what was safe on block, what was unsafe. Talked about situations when you might want to use them. Now there is nothing like that in MK1 that really directs players on how to better understand what they've created. I think with any developer, with any game in general, you kind of have to teach the player how to properly use these characters. Unfortunately, the most educational information that they provide is on their stupid Twitter, which says things like lights, cameo, action, Janet Cage will be ready to assist for all hashtag MK1 players on March 27th. So she says here, combo extension, offense, stunt double. What the fuck? What does this mean? Aren't all of them for combo extension? Having these words here like combo extension is meaningless, because all assists inherently by nature extend combos. What? So putting something that's redundant doesn't really tell you how this character is unique. That's because they're not really that unique. They're all used for combo extension and pressure, because they all provide plus frames. There's always an option for plus frames somewhere. The stunt double is it's disgraceful, as it says here in the trending. I like how it says Lee Men trending, but oh look, it disappeared. Good. Didn't even have any posts associated with it. But this is the name of her move, Janet Cage, stunt double. And there's not really much information else provided beyond that. I guess you're getting a man. You can tell that from looking at the picture. I don't know why people seem to be confused as to Janet. I mean, she's trans. She was supposed to be Johnny. Now she's Janet. That's trans. There's no debate about it. But oh boy, give me a second here. I want to pull up the actual game. So we're in Mortal Kombat 1, and unfortunately, there isn't much information provided on how to properly use cameos. You've got a basic introduction to cameo attacks. However, if you really want to learn about cameos, then you have to do things like these combo challenges. I haven't done all of them. But around combo 3, 4 of the challenge, they'll start introducing a cameo fighter. And this is the only form of tutorial that's provided, and it's provided without words, without explanation as to what is occurring or when you should be pressing buttons, which would be really helpful if they want people to play their stupid game. But when you come to characters like Melina, she features Darius in a lot of her combo challenges, and these challenges are basically the only way to really see these cameos in action besides looking up somebody's YouTube or something, right? And I don't really encourage, if you are like just learning, it gets really hard to look at people's YouTubes and be like, oh, well, how the hell am I supposed to do that 500% combo? Just do whatever feels natural. It'll come to you. Definitely. Also, don't forget, there's other basics, like spamming Kano laser. But this is, once again, how you see, like, oh, there's no Darius in this one. So it's not challenge 3. I think it's challenge 4. And unfortunately, I think, like, what we're seeing here is a continued, for lack of a better word, expression from the developers that they don't understand their game. Because in this latest season, we received combo challenge number 9, which adds the Shujinko cameo tutorial for absolutely everyone. Like, they really want people to start using Shujinko, it feels like. Because why else would they add a combo challenge for everyone on the roster? But like I was saying, this is the only way you'll see some of these cameos. So let's pull up, I think it's 4. And I'm not doing the challenge. I already did it. I'm not doing it. Okay, so that's not the cameo one. So yeah, like, you can see that there's a lot of stupid combos to do. But if you were a fan of that Raiden challenge from MK1, they basically extended the craziness to everyone on the roster. So let's try this one. Is it this one? No, it's not. As you can see, it's not even a lot of information that they're giving you for these cameos, because these challenges are more so focusing on the main fighter. Okay, so let's try 6? 7? Let's do 7. 7's kind of hard. I find 6 usually harder than 7. So that's a lame cameo usage. No wonder I was able to get this right. Because look at it. Do you see that? That's just a combo ender. That's not a combo extender. Also, it didn't, like, what is this combo? It's so lame. They teach you really stupid things, which really kind of tells me that they don't know what they've made. Really? 350 and you're using the how much cameo meter? 2 bars and all of the cameo meter. So 350 for 2 bars a super and all of your cameo meter. How unoptimal? Like, what are they trying to teach us, really? So this is why I suggest to everyone, if you really want to understand how bad the game is, just play it. You'll see how bad it is. You'll get more examples of how bad these cameos are incorporated into their understanding, the devs' understanding. And it reveals why they rely on these ex-pro players. Because, yeah, maybe the ex-pro players know the game better than the devs. It's sad. It's really sad. It's sad because we're the ones who paid money to these developers to make something, and they're too dumb to actually make anything. So that's really kind of like focusing on how they're delivering this information, how they've designed these characters to actually work. But I think what really underscores all of this is the fact that it's a money grab. When you have characters like Janet and Tremor who are giving you more options compared to the other, like, cameo fighters like Shujinko or Frost, it's obvious what they're going for. Look, you can pay for it. You can buy it standalone, or you could buy it in a pack collected together, which is also 50% off. They really want people to buy into the season pass. This is disgusting. It's really disgusting because you can see it right in front of your eyes that these things are meant to generate income. They don't care about balance because they themselves are describing it as chaotic. They don't care about understanding what they create because the tutorials that they design are not optimal, wasting resources. Who would waste 2 bars of super and the whole cameo meter to do 350 damage? Are you doing that? Because I'm not. I would not. But that's wild. It's so wild. And, you know, what we're looking at doesn't showcase how particularly evil these people are. So let's go back to the game. And you want to see the evil? Just go to the shop. Cameo unlock pack. Jumpstart Mortal Kombat 1 with 5 classic cameo characters in this pack. So instead of leveling yourself up to Invasion's level 30, you can purchase Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Kung Lao, Shujinko, and Motaro cameo fighters. Why? They're not even as useful as Janet. They're not even as useful as Chameleon. Why would I pay for that? So you can see at every corner and turn, NRS is trying to charge from this cameo. It's not about gameplay. It's not about plus frames. It's not about any of that. It's about money. They are getting that money anyway. Get that money, honey. It's terrible. So I really feel like we have had this terrible history where they don't understand their own game, and I have here this tweet from Sonic Fox, which kind of illustrates that the pro scene is upset that the cameos get nerfed, but they're not also seeing like the bigger picture, which is that NRS doesn't know what they have designed. That's why you see all these nerfs. So I can understand why Sonic Fox is crying for more buffs. Just universally buff the cameos to be more broken. So here's the problem. When you call it broken, it's not balanced. Those two things are working opposite of each other. So when you have it more broken, it's less competitive. I don't think these pro players understand what they want. You can have fun, or you can have fun and chaos, or you could have balance and order. These things don't, I mean, like, yeah, it's even in the game. Order realm versus chaos realm, right? So the chaos of the cameos, it's terrible. But I think like the true chaos is Janet. Is she the drama? She is the drama. So like I said, all of the cameo fighters at the beginning of this stream are dictated by Ed Boon and Dominic Cianciolo. Ed Boon thinks up of a list. Dominic sees if it works. And if he doesn't like the idea of Johnny being a cameo, he's going to transition him into a female so that it can be suiting their ESG corporate guidelines. Look it up. WB ESG. I don't have to. I've shown you guys so many times. All the suspected cameos only have been classic versions of said character. So I was trying to find a resource, a link, an interview detailing from the devs' mouths that these cameos are supposed to be classic versions of themselves from, I guess, whatever alternate dimension that they originally appeared in, because MK1 is not the OG dimension. I couldn't find that, and I thought it was in a combat cast. I couldn't find it, but I do, like, you can see that they've been trying to make, like, classic retro versions of Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Kung Lao, Jax, Sonya. They've made some questionable designs with Janet Cage, even Frost, because that's not classic. They were trying to do a less sexy version of classic Frost from MK11. Why? Just give us classic Frost from MK11. She's beautiful. So they, Reddit, for some reason, Reddit is insane with leaks and conspiracy, but Goro having a different costume, does that mean he'll be playable? No one's playable. We've all been shafted. Then this is another one here. This is a post from GameFAQs where they discuss Shujinko as the worst cameo on the roster. In my opinion, they're all terrible. They're all equally bad because we don't deserve cameos. We deserve fully playable characters. We deserve a 2v2 mode. We deserve a tag mode. We deserve full-on 1v1s. Like, we deserve all of these things. We don't deserve crap like cameos, which are just repackaged tag assist consumables. So I guess this brings us to the future. Like, where are we to go from here? And I found this really crazy article from Game Rant. The argument for MK2 having MK1's cameos. So this came out October. And back in October, they were arguing for having the cameos persist into MK2. And interestingly, they highlight the real reason for why cameos exist. Besides the potential for gameplay innovation, the Cameo system offers a lot of value to the Mortal Kombat's roster. There are only so many characters a given entry can include, and for a franchise that likes to celebrate its own history, a cheaper way to add more faces is a lifesaver. So this is a cheap way for the developers to make more money by cutting corners. Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Isn't that great? Let's see what they go on to say about Janet Cage. Combined with Janet Cage being confirmed as a cameo fighter, presents another use for the system. Cameos don't need to factor into the story. Well, how does Shujinko factor into the story? He's not in this story. So they can just as easily be characters' classic versions as they can be alternate universe equivalents. This is such bullshit. I hate these multiple universes. Put them from one world. We here in this live stream, we exist in one world, not multiple worlds. It hurts. It hurts my mind. The possibilities of a secondary roster are infinite in the multiverse MK1 established, and it would be a shame to abandon cameo fighters before that potential is realized. So I think cameo fighters is just a hallmark of bad execution, that we have not had our fully realized 2v2 tag mode moment, that this is a cut corner. Like, I don't want to see cameo fighters in the next game. Give us the modes. Don't give us these cameos, which are just cheap cash grabs that you identify. It's a cheaper way to add more faces. Why else would they add more faces? Is it to appeal to the same group that they're already appealing to? Or is it to increase their appeal to more players? It's so grifty. It's so grimy. It's so gay. I don't like it. I don't like it. So yeah, this cameo stuff, it's terrible. It sucks. I can't think of one way that cameos improves upon anything that you could experience in a prior game. It's not new. People feel like it's a new innovative technique, a new mechanic, but it's old. It's rehashed, and it's just taking your money. Anyways, let's see what you guys are saying. Thank you so much for joining along. 29 of you. Can we get 29 likes? OMG. Okay, hey there, unknown subject. Duan, Adlai. They took the multiverse idea from Injustice and tried to put cake inside a lasagna, and the horrible thing came out. Wow, not cake inside a lasagna. That's pretty nasty. Dave, is your meow meow still burning? Yes. It's always on fire. They easily could have made an Earth Realm focused game, an Edenian focused game, a Chaos Realm. Yeah. They could have made it all of that. But I would have preferred just playing Deception, maybe? What I don't understand is if they want to milk money out of people, why don't they make a good story? Great question. MK11 Frost. Yes, she's beautiful. Maybe things will improve if Universal Studios buys Warner Brothers. I don't think anything will improve unless the head honchos at NRS are sacked. The people who are responsible for designing the games and continuing and propagating the same errors that have existed in the game's coding for more than a decade, they need to be fired because they're not doing their job. Is Ed really involved in this game? Yes. According to the interview with Dominic Cianciolo, Ed always starts with a group of characters that he wants to do. Then he talks with me. This is specifically about MK1, but we have seen other interviews where Ed Boon has been the team lead and made things less sexy on purpose. LOL, Septillion. She doesn't look like an actress. She looks awful. She doesn't look like an actress. No, she does not. Not even WWE fighters look like her. Totally. I'm not a mathematician. Okay. Well, math, it's useful. Duan, you're hilarious. You are right, Brian. They should change careers ASAP. Dave, I wish they would let you change your character in Cameos. I wish they could give you the chance of changing your main character too, not just totally agree. Not that I didn't apologize. Anyways, okay, so yes, would love to hear from you what you think of Cameo. I haven't made a video about Cameos before. Thought I'd do it now because we got our Janet. And I think with seeing how Janet and how do you call it? How Janet, Tremor, and Chameleon, how they've all sort of progressed into being more broken with more options. This pay to win situation is gonna be the trend. It's terrible. But you know what's not terrible? You guys. Thank you so much for joining along. Please do leave a like or leave a dislike. It all helps out. Or get the hell out, because the live stream is over. But if you really enjoy what we do here at the Jaded Rabbit, please do consider joining the Jaded Bunny family. You guys get access to all of my secrets. Oh, you know what? We're going to do something. I'm going to do something. Just give me a moment. The Jaded Rabbit. Please. You can hear me. What the hell? Oh, wow. Okay, yes. But yeah, you want the secret glitches, you want all this stuff, join. Or get a gift. I'm gifting gifts. Do you like gifts? I'm giving people gifts. Hopefully someone gets a gift. Andrew 1UPS gets a gift. Okay, well, I don't know where the other ones are. No one else wants a gift. Oh my god. Oh, I'm so sad. Where are the other 4? Anyways, much love to all of my brothers and sisters who help keep me alive here on this YouTube, including Duan, Adlai Black, Just Drew, George Alvarez, Cara D. Love you, sister. Johnny. Love you, Johnny. OMG J4. Hey, J4. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Give me 10 minutes. I'll be there. Okay, this one heard you. Yeah, you heard me. Evil Bunny. Not I gave a bunny membership to Evil Bunny. So Evil Bunny is now a bunny. Good. You want some of this gift action? Make sure you come to the live streams. Also, be nice. Or I'll ban you. LOL. Aw, 6 likes. You didn't get any. It's the season of giving. Have a good weekend, Dave. Aw, thank you, Yuri. Love you, brother. Love all of you guys so, so much. I'm praying that you're having a wonderful Easter. But until next time, please stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy. Bye, my friends. Take care. Peace. Love you guys.